Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black, trimmed with gold letters and weighing exactly 140 pounds. A native of Serov, Russia, but he now proudly lives and fights out of Sydney, Australia. His professional record, 20 victories, 16 by knockout, with only 1 loss and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the former IBF Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Kostya Tszyu. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white, trimmed with green, and weighing in also at exactly 140 pounds. His professional record, 52 victories, 42 by knockout, with only 3 losses in his career. He now lives and fights out of Los Angeles, California, but comes to us as a native of Yerba Buena, Jalisco, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the former IBF lightweight champion of the world, Rafael Ruelas.
Ruelas. No posible, no posible. Suerte.
It should not take long for the fireworks to erupt. Kostya Tszyu has knocked many men down in the opening minutes of his fights. Jake Rodriguez in the first 15 seconds. Let's see how he goes at it here tonight, round 1.
He has knocked down 9 opponents in the first minute of the first round. He is an extremely fast starter. He goes right to work in this first round.
Ruelas said he's been working strong on defense and working strong on blocking his punches with his hands held high above his to the sides of his face. Tszyu with his first combination, and Ruelas blocked both of those punches.
Tszyu gets in, gets out. Ruelas has to get to the jab. Even though you're moving in, you're staying on the inside, you got to use that jab. Look at the hands of Ruelas. Big right hand.
And
Ruelas is hurt.
in trouble. Kicks a right and a left, and he's up against the ropes. He nearly goes down. Referee lets it continue. He could have called that a knockdown. The ropes holding up Rafael Ruelas. A left hook by Tszyu. Ruelas in deep trouble. He needs to hold or answer back with something, but he's in terrible trouble here as Kostya Tszyu goes to work, as he always does in the first round. Tszyu opening up with a bombing here of Rafael Ruelas in the first round. And Ruelas is very shaky. Good body punch by Tszyu, had enough presence of mind to do that. And Ruelas is thrown down, and it is not counted as a knockdown, and the referee does not wipe the glove of Rafael Ruelas.
Ruelas weathering the storm, though. He's still in this fight.
Ruelas caught early in this fight, as many suspected he might be, but even he knew that he might have to survive an early bombing. And we're only halfway through round 1. A terribly rocky round for Rafael Ruelas.
Rocky could be the name if he survives this. Ruelas, cobwebs in his head, doing everything he can to stay on his feet, has been wobbled but has not been down, except the throwing down.
Ruelas now trying to get himself back together, but his face already looking jaded, and here comes Tszyu with that strong punch of his.
Look how fast Tszyu is. You got to start punching if you're Rafael. The best defense is a good offense. And you know that Tszyu...
Right hand by Tszyu, and that was a big one.
Stellar right hand. Kostya, such sharp punches. A swing and a miss from Rafael buys him a few seconds.
Well, his legs are just so wobbly right now that they're hardly supporting him. Left hand by Tszyu, and Ruelas caught Tszyu coming in, and now Tszyu is in trouble. He rocked Tszyu with that left hand. Half minute to go in round 1.
Rafael has power in that left hand. He's got to get it working. Tszyu coming in, still hurt, trying to use the referee as a blocker.
Tszyu looks a little shaky to me. I think they're both shaky right now, and they both hurt each other.
Boy, what guts, what determination from both fighters.
A shocking ebb and flow to this first round. Big right hand by Tszyu.
Tszyu, attack, attack, attack. Rafael hurt again.
Bell ends round 1. That must have seemed like 5 minutes to each guy.
Very nice, very nice.
Well, it was Kostya Tszyu first who came out to establish control, and whack, he did it with that right hand right there. Almost going down to the canvas was Ruelas, did everything he could to stay up, but he takes another right hand. Watch him trying to duck these punches. Almost went down again. In fact, Kostya Tszyu backed off of him. Later in the round, it was Rafael with a big left hook.
Short punches, right hand.
Oh, Tszyu weathered the storm.
Pin you on the rope too long.
Rafael, you gotta keep deep breath, deep breaths. There's Joe Goosen. Later in the round, it was Ruelas who landed the big left hook that wobbled Tszyu. Right there. And Tszyu wobbled and retreated. Big first round, back and forth.
Well, it was a wild first round, as we suspected it might be. I thought the referee, Luis Guzman, was indecisive at times in whether to call a knockdown or not. Nonetheless, the fighters come out, and we've got the brawl that everyone expected now, and Ruelas trying to answer back. That's that swarming style of Ruelas and punching to the body. Each man was hurt in round number 1.
There was a warning from the referee. Not quite sure.
No official knockdowns in round 1, but Mills Lane still scored it a 10-8 round for Kostya Tszyu. And Tszyu, they're trying to manhandle Ruelas.
That's the balance.
Strength and lack of balance, perhaps, for Ruelas.
Well, the balance of Kostya Tszyu, too. Able to manhandle his opponent. Rafael, got to get to the jab. You got to get to the jab. Rafael so content with staying out of the way of the punches of Tszyu, staying out of harm's way. He knows that Tszyu's a fast starter. He's trying to get to the later rounds in this fight. Trying to get past that 3rd and 4th round. He has noticed that Tszyu's punches subside after the 4th round. He has been a follower of Tszyu's fights. Rafael has. Good combination from Kostya. And another one from Kostya. Hook off a jab. Kostya, also a big fan of Rafael Ruelas, has followed his career. Says he's a great fighter. I've seen many of his fights. He's a great champion.
And he also said, I hope that we can be friends in the future because he's a great person. And I think these are two of the more likable people in boxing, to be sure.
Real amiable people. I've known Rafael for quite a while, and he is such a nice kid when you're not facing him.
There's Miguel Angel Gonzalez, who, of course, gets the winner of this fight. He is currently the #1 rank, the former champion in the 135-pound division, now stepping up to 140. And Miguel Angel doing some commentary on Spanish-speaking television tonight for this fight. And whoever wins this bout gets Miguel Angel in the championship fight. Tszyu missing a little bit more in this round, and some of his punches lacking a little of the snap that they had in the first portion of round number 1.
Yeah, he came out that first round looking for the knockout. It seems as though he's kind of taking a step back in this second round. And Rafael getting off a little bit more in this second. Yeah, you can't hold your guns. You got to fire. You got to fire. Once you think about it, the opening's gone. Oh, good right hand. Look how fast those punches are.
Yeah, now he's throwing,
and turning. Remember,
he's throwing one punch at a time, Tszyu, and then getting out, and they're landing with pretty good power, although Ruelas is still right in there.
Remember in the last fight how Espinosa was walking around his opponent? You know what? Tszyu doing much of the same thing, walking around Ruelas, getting the angle on him.
Round 2 coming to an end, perhaps belonging to Tszyu, but certainly a far more competitive round in round number 2.
Aggression in that last round, moving in, able to connect a little bit, holding and hitting, and then crack a nice uppercut from Rafael. Tszyu walking around Rafael, getting different angles, different looks. Rafael has to try to back into the corner and then score. Tszyu is elusive in the ring.
Round 3 of this WBC title eliminator in the super lightweight division, 140 pounds. Ruelas' legs still not looking all the way back. Through 2 rounds, Kostya Tszyu has thrown about 30 more punches, and he's landed better than twice as many as Rafael Ruelas. But certainly Ruelas did better in that second round than he did in the first. Still, Tszyu getting it on the scorecard of Mills Lane at 10-9, and he's opened up a 3-point lead, according to Mills, through the first 2 rounds. I would like to remind you folks that Ruelas was down twice and nearly that done in the night that he won the World Championship from Freddie Pendleton in round number 1. And he came back and came on strong later and managed to win that fight.
An outstanding fight, just will and determination.
Right hand
He
by
says
Tszyu.
Pendleton's a good fighter. He's fast and strong, kind of like Kostya Tszyu. Ruelas knew what to expect coming into this match.
Ruelas is beginning to take some of these punches better. Tszyu has hit him some clean shots in this round, and Ruelas actually walked through them. Ruelas getting into the fight more, but he's got to start finding the range.
Kind of working his way through that confusion. He looked in a cloud back in that first round, even though he rocked Tszyu.
How many fighters has Tszyu done that to, though? Just jumps on him in the first round.
Right at the start. So many fighters, especially in the pro ranks and the upper level, they take off the first couple of rounds. Kostya Tszyu tries to take them out in those first couple of rounds. Give him the second round off for the night.
Tszyu doubling up on that left hook. And now showing a jab.
So fast, so fast. He says, Kostya Tszyu says, the power comes from within. I have great balance in the ring.
Now Ruelas trying to get his jab to work.
Tszyu says he has many options in the ring. He has tremendous power. Says his best punch, he doesn't quite know, naturally right-handed for Ruelas. He says his best punch is the left hook, and there it is from Rafael.
I can't ever remember Kostya Tszyu backing off in fights, except when he was really hurt against Vince Phillips in the late going of that bout.
You know, they've done a nice job in the corner of Ruelas. Joe Goosen telling him to go to the body, go downstairs. You rob your opponent's power in his body.
Good jab by Ruelas. And a very strong jab. And Rafael is not known for a jab, but that one rocked Kostya Tszyu back. Best punch of the fight for Ruelas. Well, with the exception of that left hook in the first round, I don't mean to neglect that, because that one really hurt Tszyu.
You see how Tszyu trying to control that jab. You follow the opponent's jab with the right hand. Make him stop that.
Ruelas getting into the fight here in round number 3.
Yeah, this is where Ruelas needed to be. Now we should see some rounds in this fight.
Subtle change in the fight here as round 3 comes to an end. Well, let's see, as this fight seems to be changing just a little bit, what Perry and Mills have to say. Guys?
Well, I absolutely agree with you. I think the fight is starting to change a little bit. I think what's really happening here is all that machismo stuff is now out of the way. Now we can get down to a boxing match.
Yeah, they say all that machismo stuff is good if you can fight. Well, we're finding out that both can fight, and it's going to be a great fight like we thought. Tszyu had the stuff early, but now Ruelas coming back a little bit.
Sean O'Grady talked about something that I think is really significant, and that is the balance of Kostya Tszyu. The way he fights, it looks to me like he's able to take a better punch than Ruelas is.
Yes, and Ruelas' legs still don't look exactly right to me, but he's done a good job in the corner. Joe Goosen has a great trainer, done a good job over there. We'll see what comes.
You know, I really like the idea, too, that Ruelas right now is starting to work the jab, starting to work at long range. Those are all the things that most observers feel are things that Ruelas should have been doing all along. Starting to do it now, and it's working better.
We move now into round number 4. Things seem to be changing a little bit in that third round. Ruelas did better, and Kostya Tszyu actually was moving backwards for one of the first times that I can recall in his career. Through 3 rounds, still Tszyu wide edge, and punches thrown, landed, and in percentage.
Once he gets going, Rafael Ruelas is dangerous early in a fight. You saw him wobble, he weathered the storm, and now he is still fighting here in this 4th round. Ruelas is a tough kid. You know, he showed up at the gym of Joe Goosen when he was 14 years old with his brother Gabriel. They were candy salesmen. They were selling candy door to door, and they tried to sell some in the ring, in the gym, and Joe said, you guys get in the ring, trying to run them off, but he couldn't run them off. They love the sport of boxing. Rafael Ruelas and Gabriel, his brother.
And they have stayed with the Goosens from the very beginning.
Yeah, loyalty. You know, something you don't find a lot in this sport. Fighters sticking with one manager and one trainer in their career, but that's the kind of person that Rafael Ruelas is.
Tszyu trying to assume a more aggressive posture in this round, but Ruelas throwing actually a few more punches, it seems like, than Tszyu in this round.
Look at that quickness from Kostya Tszyu. Score, get in, get out, and walk around. See him
He walked right into a jab of Ruelas there, though.
Ruelas has a long reach, 76 inches.
You know, I've rarely seen
that is extremely long.
Rarely seen him use that reach, though, to his advantage because of the way he fights. Likes to swarm his opponents and punch them in close. But tonight, maybe this is the ticket for him. John, he's just to stay outside and to pump that jab.
It is a great weapon. Even if you're moving in, you can still use that weapon to set up your right hand. I'd like to see him use it more, but he's so effective with that left hook. You don't want to do anything to take away from his power on that side.
Ruelas snapping that jab out. Tszyu looking for one punch at a time. Ruelas jabbing to the body there, and Tszyu countering.
Yeah, doubling up the head. You know, you got to. It's a dangerous thing to go to the body. When you go down to the body, you got to be very cautious. Leave yourself open. When you reach for the body, you got to bend down, lower your entire body, and then score downstairs to your opponent's body. Good uppercut from Tszyu.
Yeah, you landed a nice shot to the body.
And he's got Rafael following him around.
Rafael now trying to open up. Landed a good left hook to the body. Oh!
Rafael's getting into this.
Interesting fight, getting closer by each round, it seems, as round 4 comes to an end. Back to the corner with Kostya Tszyu. First name really is Constantine. Nickname is Kostya. That's what everybody's called him for years.
Serov, Russia. Fighting out of Sydney, Australia. 28 years old, 140 pounds, 72 inch reach at 5'7". Listening to Johnny Lewis.
The only thing is, we can't let him hit us with our hands not coming back up high. We've got to bring him back up to our chin. That's not hard to do, mate. The left leg. Sway his legs, please, Raymond. His legs. Both legs. Feeling good, mate? Don't let him get a shot on us, mate, please. There's no need for that.
Wanted us to say hello to his wife, Natasha, watching back in Australia. Kids, Tim and Nikita, he loves you.
All right, we move into round 5 now of this WBC title eliminator. Super lightweight division, 140 pounds. WBC uses the words super. They don't have any junior names to their divisions. Now, Tszyu has attacked almost exclusively to the head in this fight. Only landed 8 body punches. Ruelas a little bit more well distributed, but not enough punches by Ruelas.
Getting out punched. Nothing wins fights more than throwing punches.
Mills Lane has it 39-36 after awarding that last round to Kostya Tszyu. So he's got the Russian-born Australian in front by 3 points. Ruelas now trying to swarm. This is his type of fight. Ruelas, he likes to just come in now and get close and try to throw wide punches and try to bear down on his opponent. Flash of heads, and Joe Goosen in his corner is waving him in.
No blood, but that's smart.
Good combination by Tszyu. Straight punches that time by Kostya.
Very skillful fighter is Tszyu. Always on balance. Rafael Ruelas, this is just guts and determination from him. Look at his hands. That's good training.
And Tszyu looking for an opening. Did you see him bend to his left and then come up with a punch? He was actually looking for it. Now, sensing that he might have Ruelas in a bit of a predicament, follows him over to the ropes.
Tszyu does a nice job of splitting the gloves. When the opponent holds his hands up around his face so well, like Rafael does, you go right down the middle.
This could be trouble against those ropes. I don't know if Ruelas wants to be there.
Ruelas not a fighter who backs up well. He is known to go forward. Can't retreat.
Tszyu trying to double up with the left hand. Caught Ruelas with a jab coming in, but now Ruelas applying that pressure. Nice left hook in close. Go. Ruelas won the title at the expense of Freddie Pendleton in the title bout we mentioned earlier when he got up for 2 first-round knockdowns to win that decision. Successfully defended the title twice before losing to Oscar De La Hoya. The title for Kostya Tszyu was when he defeated in 1995 Jake Rodriguez with a TKO in the 6th round, having taken command of that bout in the first 15 seconds when he scored the first of 5 knockdowns.
Yeah, he started at age 9, Kostya Tszyu did. He went 269 and 12 as an amateur. Bypassed the 92 Olympics so that he could turn pro, and he did so back in March of 1992.
Yeah.
Busy pace, back and forth again for this round.
On the inside, man.
Ruelas complaining to referee Luis Guzman, and not only is Ruelas, but Joe Goosen, his trainer, has followed Guzman into the neutral corner and is berating the referee over there. And only now does he return to the corner to talk to Rafael Ruelas, who is bruised beneath the left eye.
6 coming up. This is 6. Let me see. Very nice. Okay, look, you got to stay close to him, Rafa. You got to get within that short punching range. You understand what I'm saying? You got to tilt your duels right a little bit more. You're coming in straight ahead. You got to give him a little bit more angle coming in, Rafa. I need that right hand to the body, right hand to the head more often, Rafael.
Oh, they don't want him to stay on the outside. Here's why. On the outside, Rafael is taking a shellacking. I talked about him not having the ability to back up. No retreat in him. He doesn't know how to fight going backwards. That's where he's taking his biggest shots. They're saying, get on the inside. Stay in there. And stay low.
As we go into round 6, and Joe Goosen asking Ruelas to stay inside. That is more in tune, basically, with what he has done throughout his career. Been an inside swarmer and finally overwhelms and wears down opponents. He has not landed as many, nor thrown as many, nor landed as accurately as has Kostya Tszyu through the first 5 rounds. Mills Lane scored that last round for Tszyu and has him up by 4 points. Tszyu does an interesting job of throwing one punch at a time, Sean, where he throws it from outside. He'll throw a punch to the body and then just kind of back up again and look at it, pose a little bit, and then come back with one more punch.
Yeah, he does a nice job of throwing combinations and then looking at his work to see what reaction he's going to get. If he would continue those combinations, this fight may be over. Remember the hard punches that he threw back in that first round. Many would fear that he would punch himself out, but he says, I'm in terrific shape tonight. He's been sparring with Jaime Balboa, who fought Rafael Ruelas back in December of 1996. He was KO'd in the 5th, so it was Jaime Balboa.
And there you saw an example of the strength of Tszyu as he just kind of threw Ruelas to the canvas. Ruelas also slipping a little bit on the red portion of the ring canvas. You mentioned the sparring for Tszyu. Ruelas has been sparring with Obakar to work on his quickness, and he felt that helped him a lot coming into this fight.
Obakar, a real speedster. Be called a sportster. Real fast punches, hard shots.
Tszyu with a good right hand.
And Rafael Ruelas is having difficulty with the speed of Tszyu. Look at that. Sharp punch, real quick. See how relaxed Tszyu is?
Ruelas needs something big, I think, here again to turn things around. And in that first round, he was nearly out, and he landed that left hook, and that settled matters down a little bit for him and kept Tszyu off of him a little bit. And I think he needs some kind of big, dramatic moment for him again.
Sure, he's gotten so peppered, though, he's afraid to throw anything. Every time Ruelas reaches to throw a punch, Tszyu cracks him a couple of times. Puts him in a shell. Look at that wild swing from Ruelas.
Tszyu doing a better job with his jab in this round and now hooking off of it.
Yeah, really taking control now. Ooh. Big right hand from Tszyu going backward. Tszyu is a fighter who can retreat and punch. There he is again. very skillful young man, Kostya Tszyu.
We reached the halfway point now of this fight. Stop! Corner.
Yeah, he's very relaxed. He's giving instructions to Johnny Lewis.
Still got plenty in him, man.
This guy, period. You hear me? You got to start using right hands, Rafael, off your jab. You got to start doing right hands to his chin. The left hook's not reaching him. You got to step in with jab.
They want Rafael to jab, but here's the problems that he's having is he's getting out jabbed. Look at this from Kostya Tszyu. Big jab on the top, right there, right on the end of the nose. And look how swelled up the nose of Rafael Ruelas is. It hurts, too, to get hit right on the nose. Get hit on the point of the nose. Both of your eyes water, and it hampers your vision.
We're moving on into round 7, the second half of the fight. Now, of course, this is where Ruelas, again, slipping in the middle portion, that right in that Budweiser sign, the red portion of the ring. It's very wet there and slippery.
Probably not the first person that slipped on Budweiser.
As you can see from those numbers, both fighters pretty much have been headhunters, but Kostya Tszyu dramatically so in this fight. Tszyu winning that last round has opened up a wide edge on Mills Lane's scorecard now. Through the first half of this fight.
You know, and if I were in the corner, I'm not, but if I were over there, I would say to Rafael, go to the body, go downstairs, exclusively go downstairs. You have to contend with that speed. He is too fast.
Right hand by Tszyu seemed to get Ruelas in trouble there. Ruelas staggering just a bit against the ropes, but now comes off of there.
Well, look at Tszyu's tongue. He better keep that tongue in his mouth or he's going to bite it off. Tszyu has his tongue out.
That may work on the basketball court for Michael Jordan.
No time to be Michael Jordan when you get hit, or even when you're throwing a punch.
Another right hand by Tszyu, trying to come with combinations now. The left and followed up with the right. Ruelas answering back. As I mentioned, second half of the fight, this is where Ruelas wanted to get Tszyu, but the question is he been used up a lot so much in the first half that the results are not going to be what he hoped.
And has he become glove shy? You know, he's been getting hit so many times. Every time he reaches for a shot, he gets cracked, like that right there.
Just a quick punch that I think a lot of the fans here missed, but it's a good punch by Tszyu, that little quick right hand.
Oh, yeah. Ruelas didn't miss it either. Got it right on the end of his nose.
Winner of this one, remember, meets Miguel Angel Gonzalez for the World Championship. It should be before the end of the year.
Oh, sharp shots from Tszyu and turning. You know, you got to contend with this speed of Tszyu and this movement. Having not gone downstairs to the body the first 7 rounds of this fight, Ruelas is going to have a difficult task the final rounds of this.
Rafael has great heart, great determination. He's still in there trying.
No quitting this kid.
And I'm sure he will try until somebody stops the fight or until the final bell rings. But he's got to get something going offensively here, something to discourage Kostya Tszyu.
Yeah, I thought this was a tough fight for him from the beginning. Tough fight when I heard about it. Oh, sharp, cracking right hand from Tszyu because of the speed of Kostya.
Another quick left hand that Ruelas was unable to block. Coming to the end now of round 7. Ruelas really not able to land sharp shots in this round. Kostya Tszyu seems to be in command, at least that's what we think down here. How about you guys upstairs, Barry and Mills?
That's exactly what we think up here, too. Starting to get a little bit lopsided, and if there's a bottom line here, it's just that Kostya Tszyu is out-quicking Rafael Ruelas.
Well, there's still some rounds to go, but the fact of the matter is he's just getting beat right now. He's a gamer, but he's getting beat.
Yeah, and he is throwing combinations, too. He's throwing well off the jab. Kostya Tszyu getting through the high guard of Ruelas. And it's really not so much a case, I don't believe, of what Ruelas isn't doing. It's more a case of what Kostya Tszyu is.
That last shot we just saw was a hook off a jab. It's not easy to do, and Tszyu does it well. He just flat taking him apart right now.
Is it possible that Ruelas just never got his legs back since the first round?
His legs don't look well to me, and Tszyu keep banging him, so they can't get better.
Right now, a lopsided fight. Ruelas lunging with his punches, and Tszyu pretty much able to do almost anything he wants to, working well off the jab, in complete control of this fight.
All right, as we move now into round number 8, Rafael Ruelas needs to get something started offensively here against Kostya Tszyu. Oh, a beautiful right hand by Tszyu, and that shakes up Ruelas immediately. Ruelas in big trouble up against the ropes. Again, his legs sagging, and Tszyu there with the presence of mind to go to the body, and he's looking for the finish right now.
It's time. It's time. At what point do you say enough is enough? Rafael's still fighting back, but he has taken so many shots, not only now, but also throughout this fight.
Hand by Ruelas, and Tszyu went down.
What am I
Let's see
saying?
if that's called a knockdown. It is not called a knockdown. It is just a slip. Tszyu, everybody got excited. I thought Ruelas threw a punch, but he must have missed, and Tszyu went down of his own volition, apparently.
A lot of water over there in that corner. That is in the corner of Rafael Ruelas.
Now they both go down.
That's the water. They're soaked. The mat is soaked over there in that corner. They've thrown water on Rafael to try to revive him, and in doing that, they've soaked the canvas over there. Rafael's still hurt. Look how wobbly he is. He is not on his center of gravity, Rafael.
With a right hand by Tszyu, who stands off again, looks, checks out Ruelas, looks for the opening. Tszyu coming forward. Another big left hand coming in, and Ruelas still trying to fight back bravely.
What heart. You're not going to find a kid with more heart than Rafael Ruelas.
Oh! And the tape has come loose on the glove of Kostya Tszyu. This will break for Ruelas here.
Yes, it is. Ruelas was hurt, wobbled in this round. He almost was out of this fight because of this. Look at these combinations. Ruelas did everything he could to keep from going down, using the ropes to stay up. And wobbling against the ropes. Look at the combination, just relentless pressure from Kostya Tszyu. But it was Tszyu who slipped on the water over there in his corner, in Ruelas' corner.
Pretty good left hand to the body. That tape is
pretty tape
already.
Yeah, already from the right glove.
Oh, Ruelas takes a terrible right hand. A brutal shot by Tszyu. And Tszyu with the left hand really has Ruelas in a bad way. I can't believe Rafael stayed on his feet. 2 brutal shots in the corner. A right and then a left hand, both landed cleanly with everything behind him.
Again.
Ruelas has no legs underneath him. He's almost done. Goosen wants him to stay right there and rest against the rope, but that could leave him a sitting target.
Oh, thunderous shots. Rafael Ruelas will feel every one of these punches tomorrow.
He's feeling them now, too.
No, he's not. Now he's out on his feet. Oh, again.
Kostya Tszyu opening it up and landing big-time major league punches.
When you get hit in the head, it doesn't hurt. You just go to sleep. Until tomorrow, when you wake up, that's when it hurts.
Left hand, Ruelas falls back into the corner. Referee Luis Guzman watching the action, but making no step in to stop it.
And I'll tell you something, the neck of Rafael Ruelas will be sore tomorrow and the next day. It's worse the first day after. The second day after, it's even worse than the first day.
Final seconds. How did Ruelas survive round 8? He's in a bad way as the round comes to an end. There'll be some drama now in the corner of Ruelas as he staggers back there. Joe Goosen will come in, and let's see if he makes a move to stop the fight.
All right, how you feel? Huh? You know what? You're doing all right. I don't mind seeing you work off the ropes here, Rafael, but you know what? You got to watch out for the pain.
Wow, a tough kid, and here is why. Rafael Ruelas going back to the ropes, did everything he can to stay on his feet. Look, right here he almost goes down, but he not only had trouble because he was getting hit, he had trouble with the canvas. That is the slick spot in this ring over there in that corner. On top of him, Kostya Tszyu relentless with his attack. Ruelas just showed such heart, such guts, such determination. Now he is listening to his corner, Joe Goosen.
One more round. I think three. Try to get some. Get one more round on the ropes here, okay?
Wow.
See if we can get him on the ropes. Pull him back on the ropes.
We go into round 9 now. Joe Goosen sat Ruelas down immediately. There was no intent to stop the fight in the corner. Tszyu comes right out immediately and jumps right on Ruelas. Lands a big left hook. Ruelas in trouble right against the ropes, ready to go down. It's time for the referee to stop the fight.
Absolutely.
Stop the fight, please.
Stop it.
He is in terrible shape, and Goosen comes in to stop the fight. What was referee Luis Guzman looking at? Why would you
exactly? Absolutely.
continue to take that kind of punishment?
I am proud of Joe Goosen for that. He got in the ring to stop this match. That was terrible. The referee should have stopped the fight. How many shots does a kid have to take before the referee will stop it? Ruelas was taking too many shots. Kostya Tszyu is so debilitating with his punches. Hard shots, good combinations, and there's the effect of it. Rafael will feel these punches for a long time.
He had enough. I thought he had enough actually in the last round, and I thought the referee was very indecisive early in the fight and indecisive there at stopping the fight.
What's the referee waiting for?
Kostya Tszyu, the winner, a decisive winner, a convincing winner, and I think you'd have to say that Kostya Tszyu definitely is back now. And I would have to say also, Sean, that Kostya Tszyu and Miguel Angel Gonzalez would be a great matchup. But let's take a look at the finish.
Yeah, look at Kostya Tszyu had kept the pressure on throughout this fight, and he turned it up. Here with these combinations, he knew he had Rafael hurt on several occasions, not looking for the referee to stop it. It was finally Rafael Ruelas' own corner, Joe Goosen, who finally stopped the fight humanely. And there it is, waved off. One more shot. Ruelas on the ropes, trying to defend himself, but breaking through with these shots at Tszyu. And Ruelas doing everything he can. Without the ropes there, he would not be up. Oh, big right hand. Referee right on top of it.
Well, certainly no questioning the bravery of Rafael Ruelas, and no questioning the skill and still strength and strong punch of Kostya Tszyu. Let's get the official announcement now from ring announcer Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the bout comes to an end at 21 seconds of round number 8. The winner, who will now go on to face Miguel Angel Gonzalez for the WBC title, he is from the land down under, Kostya Tszyu.
Well, a really impressive victory for Kostya Tszyu. He won, I would have to think, virtually every round. Now, Mills, you've been the third man in the ring for a long time. Nobody better known at it than you, and I don't know whether or not you'll say this, but I will. That was a horribly officiated fight. We'll come back and talk about that in a moment, but right now let's take it back to the center of the ring and Sean O'Grady. Sean? All right, we'll get to Sean in just a moment. Let me get your comments on the officiating.
Barry, you're right. That fight was not well officiated. The referee should have stopped the fight, and he didn't do a good job in the early rounds, as a matter of fact. But Joe Goosen did the right thing. His kid was getting hurt. The kid couldn't win. He got up there and said, "That's it. I respect that. It's the right thing for a corner man to do."
Yeah, it absolutely was, although I believe it's something the official should have done a long time ago. But Rich Barada pointed this out early in the fight. This official went wrong. He didn't wipe the gloves off after a slip. That really should have been a knockdown because the gloves touched the ground, and it was a result of a punch. Let's take nothing, however, away from the winner. Kostya Tszyu, he was quicker. He was stronger. Tonight, he was the better man.
He was the better man tonight. He definitely did. But, you know, the point made about the officials, you got to appoint quality people, not body out of shape like that, not doing a good job. No good.
All right, let's go down now to the center of the ring. Sean O'Grady will be there in just a moment to talk both with Kostya Tszyu and with the man he's going to be fighting. Here's Sean O'Grady. Sean?
Kostya Tszyu, a fast start tonight. Are you surprised that Rafael Ruelas was so tough?
It's not surprised me that he's tough, but so tough, so big heart. I never thought it was going to be like this. Because in the first round, after 1 minute, I never thought he was going to be continue. But he not only continued, he gave me the good fight.
The good left hook, too, in the first round. Was there any other time that he hurt you, Kostya?
No.
You know, this was a very important fight for you in your career on national television and shown around the world. But you know what? You have an opponent, a future opponent, sitting at ringside, in Miguel Angel Gonzalez. Did you divulge any secrets in tonight's fight?
I've done my job with Rafael. It's one thing. Is what's going to be with Miguel, it's going to be completely different because he's a completely different fighter, and it's nothing going to be like this. It's going to be a fully different fight.
What kind of fight will that be, and why do I want to watch that fight?
It's going to be a great match, I'm telling you, because Miguel is a great fighter.
Yeah, he's a great fighter, and I love watching you fight because you're a great fighter. Miguel Angel Gonzalez, you got to see up close and personal Kostya Tszyu. What did you think?
¿Qué pensaste de Kostya Tszyu esta noche?
Bueno, pudimos ver a un Kostya Tszyu fuertísimo, ¿verdad? Que él, ahora veo por qué tiene muchos knockouts en el primer round. Se peleó muy fuerte, muy inteligente, ¿verdad? Y pues bueno, ¿no? Que aprovechó y no dejó recuperar a Ruelas en el primer round.
We saw a very strong Kostya Tszyu. Now we know why he has so many knockouts in the first couple of rounds, because he jumps on the guy, he's strong, and he didn't give Ruelas a chance.
But why do you fight him, and how do you beat somebody like Kostya Tszyu?
¿Cómo tú peleas alguien como él y cómo le vas a ganar?
Bueno, pues eso se lo demostraré el día que nos toque pelear. Creo que yo soy el siguiente y pues ahí nos veremos. No sé, hay que preguntarle a los promotores cuándo nos toca.
The way we fight him, you'll see that when we fight. I don't know when, but it's soon. The promoters know the date, and I want it to be real soon.
Pero una cosa sí quiero decir, que ese campeonato se va para México.
But that championship is going back to Mexico.
Well, you heard it right here. Miguel Angel Gonzalez says it's going back to Mexico. Kostya Tszyu thinks the fight is going to Australia. Barry, this should be an outstanding match. I enjoy watching both of these guys. Gonzalez is terrific, and so is Kostya Tszyu.
Terrific fight it should be. It'll go to purse bid is where it'll go, and then we'll find out where the fight's going to be held.
That's exactly right. That's the name of the game. Where the money's at.
Well, we always talk about styles. Let's talk a little bit about what that fight might be like. The style of Kostya Tszyu will be very different, of course, than the style of, or I should say the style of Gonzalez will be very different than the style of Ruelas.
That's true, but Kostya Tszyu proved that he can box a little bit too. It will be a different fight. I think Manuel Gonzalez is a better boxer than Kostya Tszyu, but Kostya Tszyu is deceptive as a boxer. Kostya Tszyu will have to jump all over Gonzalez, and that will be a great fight. And Gonzalez, that should be a heck of a fight.
Well, again, Kostya Tszyu is the guy who wants to get you out of there in a hurry. He went after Rafael Ruelas in the first round, almost had him out of there. It was really only the ropes that held Ruelas up. But I think it really says something about Tszyu. When he didn't get him out of there, he became a patient fighter.
Became a patient fighter, fought his game plan, kept the heat on, box, jab. Good jab for a short guy. Pop, 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 pop. Good job.
And I'm sure the same thing will be true when it comes to fighting Gonzalez. Now, Gonzalez is a guy who's going to be painfully aware of what Kostya Tszyu could do in the first round, so I would have to think he's going to adapt a little bit of a different style, very likely a stick and move style.
I'm giving it, it's going to be a great fight. I'm not going to say who's going to be a hell of a fight.
Well, it's really been an interesting night for us. Most impressive performance for Kostya Tszyu, and of course a very impressive performance for Luisito Espinosa. Let's take nothing away from John Carlos Ramirez. That's a wrap for us from Mills Lane. Rich Marotta and Sean O'Grady. I'm Barry Tompkins. So long, everybody.